There are about 100 police officers who police 24 hours, 7 days a week for 56,000 people. About one officer for every 560 of us. Not only in 24 hours, just one officer. Same thing in our fire department. We have 106 active firefighters. We haven't added any. We cut to a few years back, vacant positions that we did not fill. But no new cost there other than increased wage cost that does go on year after year. We can talk about that if anybody has a question on it. Public Works we have cut back. In City Hall we have cut back. So getting to $5 million out of that $20 million would mean potentially 10 to 20% of all vital departments in the city this year, and then the same kind of exercise next year without any new revenue coming in. At the same time, we're pinched by some of these costs that we don't have a lot of control over. And let's talk for 1 second about the group insurance piece. On expenditures, if you look at 99 to 2009, take a look at that line item that talks about unclassified, big blue piece about 10 and 11 o'clock on the pie chart. You can see that it has doubled in 10 years. This isn't new news for cities and towns. It's the same everywhere else for employers. We are trying to deal with it as part of our benefit package. Our employees now pick up more of the cost for the insurance than they did several years ago. And this year they're being asked to pick up even more, about $1 million in additional cost that they will pay for as part of their benefit package. But it is a rising cost that vastly outpaces our ability to be able to raise revenue and keep it evenly funded. It's a continuing exercise. Our employee group knows that not only this year, but in ongoing years, we have to look at this particular piece of the benefit package and be able to get our hands around it so that it can be an affordable benefit for employees. But at that type of growth, if it doubles, it grew to double in 10 years. Literally from just under $10 million, it was about $7 million when I came into office in 1996. It's now up over $20 million. And it's not additional services, it's not greater coverage. The coverage is exactly the same as it was back then. It's the cost of doing business in hospitals. And it just is what it is in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts today. But the employees understand that we have to do a better job at containing the cost and sharing the cost, and we'll have to do that to make sure it doesn't continue to pinch our ability to do other things. Debt and interest, we took on a very substantial infrastructure campaign. Some of it was heavily reimbursed by the Commonwealth. We got 90% of all the cost for bonding to do all the schools that we've done, which was a very good thing. But in addition to doing the schools, we've invested heavily in our parks. We've tried to upgrade our fire stations, try to buy new equipment, whether it's fire trucks and or police cruisers, plows for DPW activity. You know, many people weigh in, they would like the sidewalks better plowed. Those are pieces of equipment that we'll try to purchase. We purchased some a couple of years back. We intend to do more. But those are all the kinds of things that when you're trying to invest in, I think it's important because to get to sit in a facility like this, to go to a first-rate park, whether it's at Pine Banks or at some of our other locations, to make sure our streets are clean, to make sure our personnel, when they are performing critical functions, can do it, and rest assured that the equipment that they have is reasonable to rely upon. You have to invest. So it's a line item that has gone up, as you can see. I think it's a worthwhile investment. Again, I think it means, hopefully, that Malden is a better place to live in. That's the overall goal, but it does cost money. We've received 90% of that cost on the school side, so you can see on the revenue side that the SBAB line item has grown substantially from 1999 to 2000. Actually, it's grown from 1996 because the program wasn't in place then when I first came in. So the point I'm trying to stress is we came to the decision about whether or not to cut to meet our budget constraints, or whether we would be fair in asking the community to pay more. And it's not, you know, we all live in the same world that you do. You know, I live right up the street, have paid for oil heat, paid for my gasoline, buy groceries. Every one of our city councilors does exactly the same thing, so we all know that it is not easy, you know, and it's not easy, especially in these times, to ask for more. But what I'm trying to, not make you understand, what I am trying to point out is that we think, under the circumstances, we are doing the right thing for this year, not only for this year, but for in outlying years. And it's obviously a debatable thing, and everybody could say, well, we don't care. We prefer that you cut. Don't ask for another dime. I don't want to contribute another dollar, especially for a trash bag.
Now you're talking.
Okay. And hey, that's a very understandable point of view.
You're not asking, you're telling us. You didn't ask us, you're telling us. You don't tell us what we gotta do when I
Oh, well, because no one's hold on. Hold on. Plenty of time for everyone to talk. Plenty of time for everybody to talk.
You guys signed all the contracts for all these public employees. You signed their raises without having a revenue stream. Now, when I empty my wallet, I can't shake my neighbor down and say, I spent all my money, give me yours. Then that's what you're doing to us. All right? And you didn't ask us, you're telling us. You're talking about, all right?
Well, I'd say that's a very convenient point to make, sir. And yes, it is. And I'm not going to shout back at you, but here's my point to you. I run for the position. I ran for the position. I told people what my views were. And I spend my time on behalf of everybody in the best way I see fit. That's fine. Everybody will get the microphone. I'm just setting the table. You can ask all the questions, make all the opinions you want. That's all. That's part of, we don't, you know, we face the same criticism every time we talk to somebody. We don't, hey, this is a city of 59,000 residents. Right. So we run it as a city government. Well, we run it as a city government, sir. You elect your representatives to make decisions on your behalf. We don't, there are public meetings on the budget every year. We did it the same way we do it every budget process.
You're taxing me twice. I'm already paying this money. Now I gotta pay it again. I'm not gonna pay it.
Well, it's an opinion. We don't, we can differ on that, but I understand your point of view. Well, it's not an override of 2.5. So hold on. I've given just about everything I could give in terms of why. Well, hold on. I can't look. We got a couple hundred people in here. We can't entertain shouts around. But I'm just going to say I'm all done. So there's a microphone on both sides of the room. There's one down here, and there's a free one somewhere coming up. Anybody would like to talk, ask a question of me or anybody else who's the public officials in the room, use the microphone. We're glad to answer.
Mr. Mayor, how come you're having us pay $2 a bag when I can go to the grocery store and get them for 27 cents for the same size bag that you're going to sell us for $2 a bag?
Where are you, sir?
Right here.
Well, come on down. Use the microphone.